What's up guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new character bio. This week, we'll delve into the origins of the mysterious Dr. Manhattan, one of the most iconic characters from Alan Moore's even more iconic 1985 graphic novel, Watchmen. Manhattan captivated readers as the only true superhuman in a world inhabited by superheroes. An enigma, Manhattan's incredible powers are simultaneously limitless and incredibly restrained, but the story of how he came to be is incredible in and of itself. In 1929, Jonathan Osterman was born in Germany to his Jewish mother Inga and his father Joseph, a watchmaker. Fast forward to 1939, and the family was now living under Hitler's Nazi regime as the world was on the brink of war. Seeing the writing on the wall, the family decided to flee the country and head to America before the Nazis came for them. Taking great lengths to avoid detection, Joseph bought a wagon, which they took off of the main roads as they headed for the border. Inga and Joseph hid John in a box marked for other goods and instructed him not to make a sound. Before their wagon could reach the border, though, they were stopped by Nazi soldiers. Seeing the possibility of what was about to happen, Inga jumped off the wagon and ran into the woods, distracting the soldiers and allowing Joseph to shoot them, but ultimately at the cost of her own life. This allowed Joseph and John to survive and to make it to America, where Joseph worked tirelessly as a watchmaker, with John prepared to follow in his father's footsteps, until the United States dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. Seeing that the world was changing, Joseph forced his son to pursue physics. After graduating from Princeton in 1959 with a PhD in atomic physics, John got a job at a research facility in Gila Flats, Arizona, studying and experimenting on removing the intrinsic field which surrounds physical objects. When the field was removed, though, the objects typically disintegrated. During the course of his work, he fell in love with another scientist at the facility named Janie. On one of their first dates, Janie's watch fell and was stepped on. John, though still a knowledgeable watchmaker, offered to fix it for her. Soon after, he had fixed the watch and planned to give it back to her, but he had left it in the pocket of his lab coat, which he had left inside the testing chamber where they experimented on intrinsic fields. John returned to retrieve it. However, upon re-entering the test chamber, the door automatically shut and locked, a safety measure in preparation for another test. John's colleagues tried and failed to override the test and were forced to watch as John was disintegrated before their very eyes as his intrinsic field was removed. To the rest of the world, to his colleagues, his father, and Janie, John was dead. But following his funeral, strange things began to happen at the Gila Flats facility, leading some of the researchers to believe the station was haunted or cursed. However, what they perceived as a supernatural haunting was really John's attempts to reform himself and recombine his scattered atoms. First, a fully functioning nervous system appeared, complete with a brain and eyeballs. Next, a screaming skeleton with an only half-formed muscular system. Then, finally, little over a week after that, John returned as the blue-skinned, muscular being that would become the hero known as Dr. Manhattan. You see, when his body was vaporized, somehow his consciousness was not. Freed and liberated, it lived on, now imbued with a huge multitude of supernatural abilities. We're going to give you the best overview we can of his broad and virtually limitless power set, so buckle up. Firstly, the most iconic power of Dr. Manhattan is that he experiences time in a quantum fashion. In layman's terms, he experiences every moment of his life simultaneously, but can expand this further to view every moment in every single one of his lives in every parallel universe simultaneously. He can also grant this ability to others briefly, but can further project events theoretically, in effect becoming able to see his own future, though this ability can be blocked by extreme bursts of tachyons, in the comic a side effect of multiple nuclear detonations. However, most of his powers stem from his ability to control all of the atoms in his own body, as well as the ability to rearrange or reconstruct molecules in other objects. With this, he himself can levitate or even potentially fly, he can teleport, he can move through solid objects or allow solid objects to pass through him, while also being able to create duplicates of himself and change in size. He also gives off the appearance of super strength and telekinesis through his molecular control, with the added ability of being able to create things at will by changing and rearranging molecules. Oh, and he's also functionally immortal. But for all his great power, Manhattan is bound and restricted by it. His ability to see through the time stream and manipulate renders him a hypothetical quantum observer, and any action he takes, any choice he makes, can accidentally create dozens, hundreds, or potentially infinite parallel universes. For this, he is extremely limited in the actions he can take, essentially left to float through time like a leaf on a stream, before leaving our galaxy at the end of Watchmen to create life of his own elsewhere. So that was a ton of information to take in, I know. For a deeper and better understanding, or just for fun, I highly recommend checking out the original Watchmen comic, as it really is one of, if not the, greatest graphic novel of all time. And for a better handle on Dr. Manhattan's origin, definitely check out the Before Watchmen Dr. Manhattan 4-issue miniseries. And just like that, we're at the end of another character bio, so let me know what you thought and which one you'd like to see next. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.